The light that you find in the dark. The light that goes into the dark. The light that comes out of the dark. There seems to be, to me, that when an individual finds themselves in an unfavorable time, there begins a thought process, one of reflection, an analysis of how it came to be, how long it will stay, things that I can't even think of at the moment. But after a certain amount of time, I want to say that there comes a comprehension that it's not something that you find with your eyes. It's not something that you find with your ears in the way that I would say humans get most of their information. Almost as a metaphor, when you receive a message and you can put it into words, but you didn't receive it as if somebody was talking to you the way I talk to this camera. But there's a communication and there's a comprehension that serves as a light. It illuminates and it transfers information from the individual who found it in the dark to others. There's also, if it makes any sense, there's a darkness within the light where when you're in too much of a good thing, then to some extent, in some similar way, how the light was shown to you in the dark, how the message was given to you in the pain, in the unfortunate, in the unfavorable. Similarly, when you're in the light, there is an ignorance, there is a blindingness to the message that's comparable to the dark. It makes me think of, and I may be saying it wrong, but the serpent that is eating its own tail. In some imaginary way, what you eat builds you. But if you are being eaten, it destroys you. But in some way, it's cyclical, it's reincarnated by consuming itself. The breaking down of itself is also the building of itself. Cyclical nature. The darkness fuels the light and the light fuels the darkness. and then the discovery of the self that comes from the experience, which I would say in some way separates you from who you used to be, who you once were before the light spoke to you, before you received the message. What you then see when out in the public space, who you interact with, how you see them, how you hear them, how they hear you, what becomes tolerable, what becomes intolerable. I relate it to the wisdom of the old man. The old man sees the young man and can see the blind spots that the young man can't see. But if the old man tries to tell the young man about the pitfalls ahead, the wisdom falls on deaf ears. Not in every situation, but enough for it to be a thing. And even if it's not an attempt to deliver a message to a younger person, it becomes a separation. It creates a distinction. It motivates the individual to call out to his tribe. And his tribe are those, regardless of their their how many times they've been around the sun, but they've heard the message. They speak the tongue. When I used to read in the Bible, and I'm not telling anybody what to believe, and I'm not trying to interpret or make claim as to how it should be interpreted, but when when I used to read about speaking in tongue, I can't say too specifically what my interpretation was then, but now, you know, it could be a way of referring to language, because the tongue, no matter what language you speak, is crucial. You need it. And all language is reference and metaphor. Doesn't matter what language you speak, you're referring to abstract concepts. And so your tribe speaks your tongue. And when you find yourself having gone through the dark, having gone through the unfavorable situations, in a sense, you become reborn and you are given a new tongue. If you make it out. And to some extent, I say maybe from there you go out and you try to interact with people, but you could tell from the subject matter of the conversation that the concepts they entertain are not concepts that you find any interest in. You've been given a new set of priorities. the light reveals things for your eyes to see, and the metaphorical light that you have found in the darkness has illuminated a new path for you to journey. I don't know a better word. I don't know a better way to express that, but in a way, you begin to follow a new light. But this light is born in the dark. I'm not sure that this video will mean anything to anybody. Not 100% sure what it means to me. But I don't want to spend too much more time on here, so I'll end it shortly. And if you ever watch this, tell me what you heard.